What's going on YouTube? It's Rochelle Tannen. It's May 15, 2023. It's around 10 a.m. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm coming back to do a video on Cissy Saint and Black motherhood. I was going to do it yesterday, but my mom's been gone for 25 or 26 years, since 1997. So Mother's Day is a very hard holiday for me. Yes, all these years later. So I wanted to discuss Cissy Saint as a character and what I experienced yesterday in motherhood. I live in a, let me rephrase. I'm staying in a very diverse neighborhood. So it's a gentrified neighborhood. So there's a lot of black kids around here, mostly black kids. But through gentrification, there's also white kids and Asian kids and Hispanic kids as well. But I'm going to stick to black kids because Cissy Saint's black and so am I. It was a beautiful day yesterday for Mother's Day, and I had a very interesting day yesterday concerning black motherhood. But let's get into Cissy Saint. As I said in my first Snowfall video, Snowfall's characters were very complex, and so was Cissy Saint. Now, in my own head, and I might overanalyze, but I remember the 80s, Cissy Saint would be my grandmother's generation because she's supposed to be about 40-ish, around 40-ish, give or take, in the early 80s. And Wanda, Mel, they would be my mother's age, roughly, and Louis would be some of my aunt's age. So these characters really, as I said in my first video, they really stick with me because I remember those times. But Cissy, I said in the first video for the finale, everyone got their just desserts and Cissy deserved to be in prison. I've seen some reviews and reactions from young men saying how Cissy was selfish and she really shot Teddy because Teddy lied to her about Alton and being in a prison, and that's why she shot him. I've seen reactions where young black men, again, were calling her a hypocrite and selfish and things of that nature. And to a degree, they're right. She was a hypocrite and she was selfish, like a lot of black mothers in the last few generations. I'm not just talking about women my age and younger. I'm talking about older women as well, because a lot of older black women and men, but this video is about the women, don't like to take responsibility for anything. Cissy initially started off feeling bad about the drug money, but what I lost respect for Cissy as the series progressed, you can't take illegitimate and make it legitimate. You can't take ill-gotten means and try to legitimize it. There was a point in season 3 and 4 where she's trying to take this drug money and put it into real estate and all this. If the women of the time that were in their 40s really thought like Cissy that they were going to keep all those ill-gotten gains, they were fools. I saw in the character of Cissy, after a while, even with the money, everybody used the term blood money when referring to the money, and it was. See, a lot of people don't understand if you were born after the 90s and the 2000s. Everything that was sold in the crack era by the Cissys and the Franklins and the Wandas and the Mels, we can't get back. It saddens me to see the state of black people of America these days. My Mother's Day went like this. Now, I keep in mind, now Cissy would have been my grandmother's age. Wanda and Mel would have been my mother's age. We're dealing with the great, in some cases, great granddaughters of these crack addict women. Yesterday, I was walking, get my exercise in, and came across, now keep in mind, this neighborhood is being gentrified here in South Philadelphia. There was some people that I could tell been here for generations, some black people. They were sitting outside and there was two cute babies, fat cheek babies, black babies. I love fat cheeks. And Philly, Kevin Samuel said Philadelphia has some of the worst women in the world. I don't like to look at them like that particularly, but they do have some qualities that I've never seen in women. There was a beautiful little girl, and I talked to them ladies. I said Happy Mother's Day, even though I'm very, very particular who I say Happy Mother's Day to. And I wish I didn't say Happy Mother's Day to the one of the women because there was a little girl, beautiful little black baby named Autumn. She named her very well. And I'm talking to the baby and whatnot. And I forgot how the conversation went, but her mother actually says, now this baby's less than 6 months. She had told me she has 2 sons. And I was like, oh, so she's the only girl. That's fabulous, blah, 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 blah. She says, yeah, I'm glad I have sons, so when my daughter gets older, she can beat these bitches up. She said it just like that. This kid literally isn't 6 months yet. That's what you want to teach your daughters? And this woman's around my age, late 30s, early 40s. That's what you want to teach your daughters? I mean, I can almost see these young black women in their 20s, which is asinine to teach your kids to be violent and things from that age, but saying something like that. But women my age, I guess 80s people really are fucked up, because I wouldn't want my little girl out here fighting. I've done my fair share of fighting, and I know in my family didn't have our hardships and things. My sisters and I, we wouldn't have been doing all that fighting in the streets. It's not becoming for little girls and young women to be fighting. And we deal with this a lot. Now keep in mind, this be Cissy's granddaughter. All them women in the 80s that were like Cissy's who had big time drug dealing sons. This is the product we're dealing with 2-3 generations later. There's a lady around the way, I won't say her name. She's an older black lady. She'd be about Wanda's age. I happened to meet her son on a humbug in this neighborhood. Now keep in mind, this woman, Cissy, would have been in her mother's generation. This woman, I met her son, and he was born in 87 or 88. And we got to talking about crack addicted parents. And she was addicted to crack. And she got really mad and dismissive of me. I didn't come off to her disrespectful, but a lot of women of that time, they don't want to address the fact that they fucked up as mothers. And they fucked up with their daughters, and their daughters continue to fuck up as women my age or grandmothers. And no. I know we've been in our 40s a couple years, 1980. But no. Y'all were grandmothers last decade in your 30s. So this woman says to me, because I can tell after that conversation, and her son actually said, I'm sorry, she has some mental health, this and that. But that ain't it. I've dealt with women like her before that around my mother's age. You don't want no one talking about the fact you use crack and you ruined your kid's childhood because her son just got out of jail and he's living with her. So she sees me on Mother's Day. She makes it a point to say, oh, I was going to wish you a happy Mother's Day, but you don't have any children. Actually, she said, you ain't got no children. And I just looked at her and I smiled and went about what I was doing, because if I turned around and said, well, I was going to wish you a happy Mother's Day, but you're a geek monster from the 80s who didn't even raise her kids, there would have been a problem. You know, the women that would be Cissy's daughters, Cissy didn't teach very well, neither did she teach her sons. Because the sissies of the time really thought their daughters dating a big time drug dealer, their sons being big time drug dealers. I guess they really thought that was going to work out. Now, I personally took Cissy killing Teddy as, Leon says, sacrificing herself, because if Franklin would have got that money, they would have killed him. The bottom line, that's the bottom line. I think the sissies of the world, and to play devil's advocate, because when I think of my grandmothers and my aunts and uncles on my mother's side and on my father's side, I have one uncle between on my father's side. I have more, but my grandparents on my dad's side were married twice and only made my uncle and my father. So I'm just talking about this particular uncle. I remember what my grandparents went through to give their kids the best, and they were like Franklins. They didn't appreciate the sacrifices and things my grandparents, the Sissies and Altons, made for them. So I guess at the end, I like the character Cissy, because at least she atoned. She got lost in the sauce for a little while, but she atoned by going to prison. A lot of the women who be Cissy's age or that are very old now are living miserable existence because of their kids and trying to legitimize their kids' bullshit back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Enabling them by either drug dealing or drug using. And now that those people are passed on, and our parents who are in their 60s, pushing 70s, late 50s, in a lot of ways they still act like ungrateful brats. And I'm not talking about young people. I'm not talking about 21. I'm not talking about 31 particular. Not in this instance. I'm talking about older black people that are now becoming the elders, the crack addicts of the 80s and 90s, who are now becoming our elders. The Franklins, the Wandas, the Mels, Cissy's kids are now our elders. And a lot of black women, y'all need to hear it. Y'all fucked up with crack. And it continues to be an issue, an underlying issue these days, to the unhappiness and the further, I can't think of the word, but it continues to be an underlying issue, and it continues to devastate our families to this day. Now, whether it's been softened or watered down, that's up for debate. But understand that epidemic still plays a role today in what we see in the behavior of the young, the behavior of people my age, the behavior of people that were born in the 70s, because a lot of them were kids. They were teenagers in the 80s. So the sissies, the Wandas, the Mels, my mom's generation and my grandmother's generation, in a way, are very disappointed. And in reality, they deserve to be, if not in a physical jail, in a mental jail. They deserve the hell for allowing, I can't say allow because the way it was done was very covert, but enabling the nonsense in those years, like Cissy did with Franklin. Because had that been me, I would have stuck to my guns and dropped him like a bad habit. Not defend his bullshit up until the end, until you really saw, after he praised that white man, he put that white man before his mother. Franklin put Teddy before his fucking mother. That's when she saw he's lost. Not when everyone else saw it. And that's a lot of sissies of the time. You got women in their 70s, 80s right now, well, 80s particularly, that defend their grown sons in their 50s and 60s in their bullshit while they live on their couch. Cissy, as I said in my first video, these Cissy, Franklin, these people are so representative of real life people from coast to coast. And my grandmothers, when I think about my two grandmothers and the hell they went through when their kids started smoking crack, well, their sons particularly, and both my grandmothers kind of handled it like Cissy. They didn't condone it, but they would enable shit. I know my father's mother, at one point in time, my dad had got so far gone, my grandmother didn't condone it, but she let him live with her when he was down and out. I won't get into it too much, but my grandmother be Cissy's generation. I don't know if I could do that with if I had a son or a daughter strung out on drugs. I guess the 80s hardened me like it did a lot of people. I'm looking at it like this, and I don't mean to make light of addiction, but listen, if you're strung out and bringing strife and whatnot, because addicts are very selfish people, and be you strung out on, well, we'll talk in drugs in this instance, I can't co-sign that shit. No more than I can co-sign my son if a Darrell Brooks type issue or type case. If you're 40 sitting in jail as my son, that to me, that's where you want to be. At 21 going to jail, okay, we make mistakes. 25, 29, okay, I got it. But by 40, that's where the fuck you want to be, in jail. I don't ever want to be one of these mothers that enable bullshit with my children. I don't ever want to be one of these mothers that put bad things into my children's head young, or teach my kids to not be appreciative when they're young and ungrateful and mannerless and things. I will want my kids to be decent, hardworking citizens. And no, if my kids started something illicit, I care not about the money. I wouldn't want to be a part of it, because what goes around comes around. I'm going to shift a little in this video to Franklin and his ending, and I've seen more videos where people, oh, Franklin did this and Franklin did that. If you don't see why the writers of Snowfall ended Franklin's life the way they did, then you are a Franklin. The Franklins of yesteryear are in their 60s today, and there's still a problem with their greed, their petulance, and a lot of things started with the Franklin in the black community. A lot of things started with the Franklins, and we still go through hell right now because of the Franklins and the sissies. And I try not to be too judgmental of my parents and my grandparents' generation because I wasn't an adult at those times. But I would have to say they really dropped the ball. When I watch black people now, my age and older, that like to blame this group of people or the cops or this person, that person, I understand. Just like in Snowfall, sidebar, I saw a video, someone was saying how black people don't point out how evil Teddy was and we praise white Jesus. No, I ain't that. Teddy was evil as fuck. But that's to be expected from other ethnicities, including Caucasian. The reason Franklin's so bad is because Franklin did it to the place he grew up and to the people he knew. That's why he got the ending he got. Cissy condoning and trying to legitimize drug money. That's why she ended up in prison. And if you can't see that, you better watch it in life, because you may end up like a Franklin. As the producers of Snowfall said, it's a cautionary tale. And not just for the character of Franklin, the entire cast of characters. If you can't see why they got their ending, then you're in danger of having an ending like that. Now, I know I've been gone a while, guys. I'm going to be moving around a lot this summer. I'm starting a program, but I'm not going to keep neglecting my new YouTube channel. Again, Mother's Day is a very sore day for me. And that's just thought about something. The lady, the crackhead, who told me I didn't have kids, her son was telling me about how I got him thinking about how his mother's going to die. Yeah, mothers die. Yes, they do, every day. And a lot of you, even with your mom's habits and shit, because a lot of them still have habits, the good Lord keeps them in your life, because a lot of you my age, y'all ain't ready to lose your mom. Because a lot of y'all got Franklin's ending coming. Believe me, you do. Believe me, you do. But on that note, guys, I have to get ready to go to work. You guys have a good work day. This is Rochelle Tannen. Thanks for the new subscribers. Trying to get to that 1,000. You guys have a good day. Don't work too hard. I'm out.